with a little. Oh my goodness!
Oh wow!
The literal biggest action card you can possibly imagine.
You don't want to see this.
And we already have action, by the way, at the feature table. Daniel Negreanu opened and got called by Philippe Pantoja in the big blind, and Pantoja has check-raised the flop. Action back on Daniel.
Okay, I'm all in.
Wow.
You have an 8?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I have a flush draw. I wasn't gonna fold, so I figured let's go.
Shoving a call.
Maybe you had
Wait,
the other flush draws.
what? No.
Okay, well, I'm live.
Okay.
Good luck. You think a heart's coming? I think a heart.
No,
or the king of hearts.
No.
I feel like the
King of Hearts is a good
king
one.
of hearts. He's okay with that one.
King of Hearts accept.
Okay, and you have me
The
covered.
only card that
So
I
this could be a very short appearance here today,
Oh,
unless
goodness.
the heart comes. With
Ignore the out to the top of your
I saw my
screen.
name already.
So
Daniel's the player who's
Remember
hit
The
here.
power of declaration.
Yeah,
I
you
declared
did?
the red. I declared the red. I did.
didn't. I declared beach time, so maybe you're safe.
I
Silver
declared it.
lining?
Well, I liked the flop, but you liked it a lot more.
Yeah.
Could come ace-ace.
No.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen. It's the King of Hearts. You already said that.
All right, so we're safe. If another 3 comes to make a full house,
Yeah.
right?
A 3 of Hearts? No, there's no 3 of Hearts.
No, no. So actually, that's a good card for me because you didn't fill up yet. You know?
It's going to be the King of Hearts. You already
I have a
said that.
feeling it
Yeah,
is the King of
you
Hearts.
said that already. You jinxed yourself. Yourself.
8 outs for Negreanu.
Right.
The
Ace,
river
yes.
is the ace of spades,
All right.
and
Good luck.
just like
I
that,
got 3
we
pair. Doesn't that beat 3 8s?
lose Daniel Negreanu.
See, oh, that was
All
fun.
right, see ya. That was
Cheers.
fun, I guess, huh?
I'm a little bit
Enjoy the
disappointed.
beach.
Well, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna D-mic and get to it.
Matt Berkey defends his big blind with 9s.
Yeah, super strong hand to have here. But of course, super deep stack. Just a quick call. Ooh, daddy. And win has the spades.
Unbelievable. It's the second time this has happened in about 4 hands.
Now this is going to be pretty interesting because, you know, oftentimes on boards where the aggressor flops you know, sort of a flush draw, the other opponent would have a set. You could really see the opponent kind of barrel off, but on a paired ace-ace board, you know, Win isn't necessarily always going to blast away. He's never going to expect, you know, Berkey to fold an ace, especially with how sticky, you know, Matt is. He's not really going to fold a 9 on a lot of turns. So I wonder if Win is going to elect to, and of course, Big Berkey with the raise. Love this.
Yeah, C-bet of 17K from Tommy Nguyen. Matt Berkey check raises to 60K with a full house.
Yeah, I think this is a great texture and great situation to do this. You know, because Win is just not going to barrel off on this board. He's either going to have an ace and continue, or he's going to have a hand like, you know, 10s through kings and decide to continue, or he's going to flush draws and continue, or he's going to have his air that probably wouldn't have barreled. So you just try to start getting money in now, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
So Nguyen with 2% equity needs running cards to make a straight or royal flush.
Great little bit brick for Berkey because it actually gives Win more equity. But the question is, because Berkey is going to think more often than not, Win is going to have an ace than a flush draw, Berkey might go on the bigger side. Ooh, interesting. Okay. You know, I'm not going to try predicting what Berkey's going to do because he's, you know, he's on his own island. I'm telling you. But if I were to try to analyze it, I mean, you know, that would be a scary card from the, you know, if Berkey was check raising and, you know, a raggy ace doesn't want to necessarily go broke. But of course, we know he's loaded and he is inducing the bluff, drawing dead.
Nguyen makes it 85,000.
Now, I would not expect a check raise from Berkey. But I'm only saying that just so that he can prove me wrong. Because I would love for that to happen. Looks like he's counting out calling chips.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
So Nguyen thinks he just got there.
And Berkey has just about pot behind. So what do you do if you're Wen's shoes here? You should expect to see a Berkey check.
He does check. Do you think Nguyen's going to shove on him?
I think there is a realm where he actually just bets something like between 160 and maybe 240. And then maybe makes a ridiculous hero fold if he gets shoved on. But Berkey's not always shoving on this run out. Of course, we see that Win has a flush. But Win also has ace-king here a lot, ace-jack. So I think that Berkey might just call this bet. Because he also knows that Win should fold some flushes when he checks shove. So I think Matt's probably just going to call.
Good news for you, I beat nothing.
Wrong.
Bad news for me is I have a really good hand.
It's a bad river for you then, huh?
What's that?
It's a bad river for you to hero call then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's case. You know, I'm definitely gonna need time banks.
So Berkey's actually considering folding
Use
here.
away,
This
my
is what we
friend.
were talking about here is that, you know, because of the line Win is taking here, when Win gets check raised on the ace-ace-9 and then continues and bets the king, Win is trying to say, you know, I have ace-jack, ace-queen, ace-king. So Berkey's losing to ace-king. And then the jack comes in.
Bet a size where I might be able to
of
just
spades. So if
be
Win
a
did
hero.
have ace-queen, he wouldn't be betting the jack. So he should have a full house here, a lot. And Berkey has the worst full house. So Berkey, I mean, we talked about how he wasn't going to check shove the river, and you know, that's clearly happening. But he's actually thinking about maybe folding, because he's only beating bluffs and queen 10 of spades, really. But also some king 10 of spades. But the thing is the sizing on the turn, you know, Win sized up pretty big on the turn, and he wouldn't really do that with king 10 of spades. You know, king queen of spades. Probably bet a little smaller as sort of a block
don't wanna beat
protection.
king queen of spades and queen 10 of spades.
Yeah. And he's folding.
Wow.
He folds the best hand.
Yeah.
He bet turn. That's why I think it's like weird to have a flush.
Queen 10 of spades.
Yeah. It's a weird hand to bet.
It's a good hand to bet.
Sick bluff.
Especially if you know the motherfucker's got 9s.
I didn't know I was bluffing.
Good rematch the heads up.
Well, it's the computer hand against the abacus.
That was a new
Queen 7 against 10-7.
Online. Or not online. WSOP, I mean. 6 max.
He beat me heads up, and he always brings it up now. Always wears his bracelet around me.
That's actually really funny.
Sounds like Joe.
That's not the one he would be. That's not the one he would be wearing.
If he was gonna wear one, that would be
Good point, Chuck.
Neither player is going to be very happy with his cards. Kata was looking very good on the flop. Ooh, cheeky little value bet.
Nice.
Yeah. That is pretty nice. It might work too. Almost as if Pantoja is in the hand as well. Whoa! Look at this.
Is that a raise from Carter?
Yeah, I like that. Look at these guys. That's awesome.
That's half his stack he's just put in.
I'm loving this.
And Osmus lets it go.
You win again, Joe. Congratulations.
So to have a hand as strong as nines worked in there where you're doing pretty great on low boards. Wow, that is an pretty action flop for all three guys.
Yeah, so we've got Ladouceur with trip kings, Deadman with the flush draw. Campagna maybe feeling his nines are strong. Action check to the pre-flop aggressor.
Either option, I think, is okay here for Deadman. You know, he can elect to c-bet and hope to get through both of his opponents. Campana does have some kings in his range. And he does get to disguise that flush draw, but at the same time, if he bets, he can just sometimes take it down, and that's oh so sweet. It's just jack high.
So 22,000 into 79,000.
Too many.
Campagna calls. Now, how does Marc-Andre play this, Griffin?
Well, this is a bit interesting for Mark, you know. He knows that he has the best hands so often. He also knows that it's hard for him to be really bluffing when he check raises here, simply because the two ranges he's up against can very easily include a king, so it doesn't really look bluffy. So I think we're going to see a call a lot. You know, he doesn't want to just get all his chips in here just because he has three of kind kings. Now, Deadman, you can see with the little... Oh, my goodness!
Oh, wow.
The literal biggest action card you can possibly
That's the flop
imagine.
you don't want to see.
Completely flips the script everywhere. Campana was nearly dead.
Well, he had
Bye-bye.
8% equity. Now he's got 81% equity, turning a full house. Ladouceur still with trip kings. Deadman got there with his flush, but...
And he's just about dead.
He's drawing to a straight flush, right?
He is, and, you know, with 2.5x pot behind, I really would love to see a check here from Simon, and I'm not just saying that because we know, of course, that Campana has nines full. He knows that, you know, with Ladouceur very suspiciously overcalling here, that he's going to have some flush draws, some kings that may already be a boat. And so he just wants to get to showdown here. If he sees two checks here, he'll certainly put out a little bet. But right now, he is not feeling that great about his jack-high flush. And Ladouceur, after seeing two checks...
I can't believe everyone checked the turn. So Campagna with the full house, nines full of kings, first to act on the river. There's 145,000 in the middle.
And I genuinely think that this is going to get a pretty quick fold from Marc-Andre Ladouceur. I know all the viewers back home must be thinking, but he has trip kings. Like, that's not... How does he take a fold so easily? Marc-Andre is going to break down the ranges here and know that Campana shouldn't really have any bluffs into two people. A lot of the time, at worst, he's going to have a flush. And his king has just completely shrunken up. Now, what Deadman is going to do is incredibly difficult, because Campana's flushes will often include...
Marc-Andre's folded.
Have a flush.
And Deadman just calls.
Has he called yet? No, I don't think he has called yet.
Well, he's announcing his hand.
I don't necessarily think he will call. Campana's not going to bet over half pot here with just a king after three-way to the turn, I think. So what are his flush combinations? Think about the hands that he flatted from the small blind. He's going to have something like, oh, wow, he blocks. Yeah, it's so hard to fold. I mean, he blocks queen jack of spades and queen ten of spades. He's
I mean, he kind of has to call there, Griffin, but the fact is he only lost 85,000 on the river.
By checking the turn, yeah.
Had a situation where three players all had monsters. We had a flush against trip kings, against a full house. One guy gets away from it, the other guy loses the minimum. That's how good these players are.
Wellenbeck's raised under the gun with ace-8 of diamonds. Not super out of line considering the dynamic here at the table, but unfortunately for him, Jeffrey Hakeem has got nearly the best starting hand in poker. Pocket queens, or as I like to call them, Lady Kings. That's a 3-bet to 300,000. Over to the French dog. No. That's French for no.
What you play?
9, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7.
And I think given these
Plus
positions,
that. So 2.
Wallenbach opening from under the gun and Hakeem 3-betting from the hijack, I personally would like to peel with more Broadway suited type hands versus ace-8 suited, just because the potential that your ace is dominated is a bit higher.
Yeah, ace-8 doesn't flop terribly well.
And if you feel like Hakeem's playing fairly honest off of, you know, his 45 to 50 big blind stack size, then this 3-bet looks fairly strong.
It does look.
Million.
Whoa, that is a
Wow.
4-bet to $1 million.
I did not see that coming.
Holy.
That was also an option that I just did not consider. And
This is not exactly the best timing. I mean, do you think he has the image to get anyone at this table to lay down queens?
I don't know, because we've seen a mixed bag of tricks coming from Wellenbach, and I feel like people who might have underestimated him or pegged him to be on the tighter side, probably they don't think that way anymore. I think he's shown up in some spots with hands that they didn't expect, was willing to call off for his tournament life. You know, in a hand where I think the call was the right one, but it's not an easy one to make by any means. There are, you know, so many stacks shorter than Hakeem. Does he want to go with this? Does he think Wellenbach has what it takes to try to blow him off of what looked like a very strong hand?
I mean, even if you don't think he's full of it here, he's going to have ace-king a lot, right? That's going to be a big chunk.
Sure.
Kings is going to be a big chunk.
Yes.
Aces is going to be a big chunk.
Money have I used? 2.
And then what percentage of the time is what Jeffrey's trying to figure out? Is he just going to be just totally goofing around here? And even though he's shown himself to be a little bit of a tricky player, I think it's still way more heavily weighted
You
toward...
don't believe me or just that strong?
Yeah, that.
And when people start talking to you when you're 4-bet bluffing, it'll be interesting to see how it changes his demeanor, especially when you're not used to maybe playing live or used to being in huge spots like this. 14 players left in the PCA main event. Can you withstand this person using their time banks in this spot?
Wow, he lays down the queens. I can't believe it.
Oh, there was a big gulp coming from Wellenbach.
You can tell he doesn't even feel good about it. That's what a nice guy he is.
I think that's
I probably didn't mind a fold there, I would say.
Wow.
Not that I know what you had. But.
He showed a smile.
Hakeem looks sick.
He didn't show,
looks
but
sick.
he showed.
I smiled.
Wow.